put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are chatting at this time with Zynara Llewellyn, the Corporate Communications Manager attached to TEMA. And this morning, it's all about the hurricane season having started. She'll tell us more about what's happening, where are some of the areas or the zones that are of concern. Zynara, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Rhea. Good morning, viewers. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you on the program this morning. Now, remind our viewers this morning, when we talk about the hurricane season, at what point during the year does the hurricane season begin? Because there's some persons, because we see rain January to June, and then we see rain June to December. So we want to know, when exactly does that hurricane season begin?
The hurricane season begins June 1st and it runs till November 30th.
All right. And what does that then mean?
It just means that persons can now look for more rainfall, heavier rainfall than normal. That comes with landslides, it comes with landslips, it comes with fallen trees, and areas that are so prone to flooding, now you see a lot of flooding happening in those areas. So at this time, we just now urge persons to prepare more. Instead of just the normal preparation that they will do for the general rain during the year, they now have to do extra preparations because, as I said, we have the hanging trees, so we advise them to trim the trees beforehand so we could avoid the fallen trees on the houses and on residential properties.
And what is the role and function of TEMA in Tobago?
TEMA's role is to coordinate agencies on the island and to deal with emergencies and any crisis on the island. So people just look at us as the hurricane or the rain people. We do so much more than that. During the year, we do our sensitization programs. Mm-hmm. So we go out into the community, we inform people as to how to prepare for emergencies. When there is carnival, when there's jazz, we coordinate all the different stakeholders from the Tobago Disaster Management Committee. So for October Carnival last year, we would have coordinated with the police, with the army, with TRHA, with the ambulance, and we would have set up like a joint command center. So that is something that we do throughout the year, whatever event that there is, because remember, if there is any event, we can have mass casualty. Mm-hmm. So we set up in case of any mass casualty incidents that we may have on the island. So now coming on into the hurricane season, we do a lot of, as I said, a sensitization campaign throughout the entire year. And going into the hurricane season, we try to do with schools and vacation camps. So from July, August, and we are now going into the divisions. So we have realized from past years, and especially last year, that the average man on the street doesn't get the information. So while we're out there doing our social media and we're trying to capture persons on that platform, the man in the street who has a Nokia phone and doesn't have that information. So we have now started hitting the streets. That's one of our campaigns that we have. So we have hit the streets in Scarborough last week, Friday, where we give out information to the public. It's a kind of one-on-one where we have persons now asking us the questions. They're getting to meet and greet and know the faces behind TEMA. And it's something that we plan to roll out into the different communities across Tobago so persons can know that TEMA is there for them.
All right. And in the interest of time here, I want us to go right into landslide and flood susceptibility in Tobago. Now, over the last few years, we have seen landslides and flooding in Tobago like we've never seen before. I grew up here in Tobago, and I remember heavy rains, yes. This could have been back in the without tipping my age, back in, 1980, 88, 87, 88, 89. I saw some heavy rains back then and even moving forward. But we've not seen the type of landslides and the type of flooding that we're seeing now. And I know all of this is due to climate change, etc. But give us an idea this morning in terms of the areas in Tobago that are more prone or more susceptible to these landslides and these floodings.
What we have done, our GIS specialist, Mr. Darren Mitchell, he would have created a map. And this map will be shared on social media to show persons the areas that they live in which are susceptible to landslides and flooding. So some of the areas include, we have up in the east, we have Delaford, we have Roxborough, the Bell Garden, the Castaras. Those areas we know for a fact always have the landslides, especially because of the heavy rain and because of the movement of the soil in tutus the landslides come down.
Do we, just before we go on, do we have that? Do we have that, a copy of that map on for the program this morning? Do we have a copy of that map?
No, it can be provided to you to the Tobago update, so
Right.
it can be posted. Hard copies would also be printed. So when we go out into the communities, these can be made available to the groceries, the corner store, because as I said, the man on the street doesn't have that kind of information. We live in a technology age, so we also have a QR code, so persons can scan the QR code and get that information up and about, so they could know exactly if it is you are in a susceptible area.
All right, so and we have the map, we were able to pull the map there, so we've got the map up on screen. And to give us an idea here of what we're looking at, and we're seeing red zones and some blue zones. How do we differentiate?
The blue zones are for flooding because, as the title said, it's landslide and flooding susceptibility map. So while the blue is in the western part of Tobago, we know there are some areas up in the east that also have flooding as well. So the areas up in the east that is red, that is for landslides, that are really prone to landslides. So if it is you zoom in and you be able to get your areas, then you'll know exactly as to what areas what hazard you'll be facing coming up in the hurricane season.
Now, I'm looking at the map, and I'm seeing a lot of red. I'm seeing a lot of red. So it's almost as though almost all of Tobago is prone to landslides.
The deeper red that you'll see, because there's a different shade of red, so you'll see like the Palativeres, the Castara, the Mariah. We know Mariah and Mason Hall last hurricane season got hit really hard. We have the Bell Garden, the Bad Rock area. That area was really affected as well. So when you look at those areas and you zoom in, you'll definitely see and you could tell, okay. And especially according to the map, it says the elevation, the slope. So if it is, you're living on a slope, hilly area, make sure that you have, if it's a retaining wall to the back of your house. So if it comes down, it doesn't affect your home in any way.
Now, usually before the hurricane season or the rainy season, persons are advised to secure your roofs, ensure that, there's no debris lying around, and all of these things. We're already into the hurricane season, but when really is the best time to do all of this?
The best time to do all of this is January to May. We know we have rain during that time, but it's not a heavy rain to affect your household in that drastic way. So that's why we have the National Disaster Preparedness Month in May. So even if it is we are sending this information throughout January, because May is the month prior to the start of the hurricane season, we really try to stress that importance of doing that, because persons just think, okay, January to May is not that important. They probably take it for granted. But coming down to May, when we let you know, hey, the hurricane season is right around the corner, we stress that importance.
All right, and let's just go back to that previous right. This is very important for persons to note. The importance of having an evacuation plan during the hurricane season. Tell us about that.
Now, honestly, before I started working TEMA, I did not have an evacuation plan. So I'm so grateful that now...
You didn't have it? Did you see the importance of it?
No, I did not. I honestly did not see the importance of it. I don't know. I know evacuation plan when there's a fire drill, you know how to evacuate.
That's right. Go down low, keep on your knees, get out.
So now the evacuation plan is not just only for your home. Because you're living in your house, you know how to escape. But obviously when there's an emergency, what do I do? Where do I go? Where are my family members? So we urge persons in the household to practice regularly with your family members. Know the best escape routes. Know where you are gathering. Have persons outside of the house and have persons outside of the community to know where to go to. Have emergency numbers. As little as the child may be in the house, make sure you practice and share this information with the child. Even outside of your house, you have the community, and then there is the school area. So if it is you have shelters in the area, you must know how to get to your shelters. And if that shelter is open, if there's not a shelter in your village, there's a shelter in a neighboring village. So having this evacuation plan, knowing how to get out of your house to get to the shelter in case that area is a flooding area, you know what is the next evacuation route and how to get there.
All right, and that grab and go bag. That grab and go bag is a must. And I'm saying, just very quickly here, tell our viewers what should be in that grab and go bag, because we're really out of time. We've got less than a minute.
Ideally, a grab and go bag is made for you to survive for 3 days. So we have water, canned food items, we have flashlights, we have batteries, Make sure you have a charger. So if you have the chance to have a spare charger, put that in the bag as well. If you have kids, make sure you have snack for the kids. But again, it's like packed items, canned food items, and have it in a place where you can easily, again, grab and go. If it is necessary, you could also have it in your car. So if for some reason you have to evacuate the house, there's already one in the car that you can use.
All right. In some cases, because you're so uncertain, have one in the car, one in the house, if you can, to grab and go. All right, Zynara, thank you so much for being on the program with us. And certainly we're going to have you back with us over the next few weeks, months, because we are into that season. So it's very important that our viewers know what is happening on the ground and how they can best be prepared. Well, viewers, lots more coming up this morning on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. So remember, this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.